During my postpartum recovery, my mother-in-law actually made me sleep on the couch. Not only did she make my husband massage her in front of me, but she also threw me passive-aggressive looks, which created a silent battle that left me feeling suffocated. My husband and I were introduced by a mutual friend, and we both lived in the same neighborhood. He's a guy with no real opinions, and because our families were pushing us to get married, well, we rushed into it after knowing each other for just a month. At first, everything was sweet, but it didn't take long for me to realize that our marriage wasn't as easy as I had thought. One time, during a holiday at my mother-in-law's house, my husband and I were joking around in our room, and I lightly slapped him a few times. My mother-in-law was watching nearby, and suddenly she grabbed my thigh, saying, "Let you hit my son! Alvina, let you hit my son!" Although she was laughing, it really hurt, and I nearly cried. I said, can't you see we're just fooling around? But she sneered, "That's still not okay, you can't hit my son." My husband didn't stop her, and she even made faces at me to provoke me. From that moment, my dissatisfaction with my mother-in-law quietly began to grow. And during our first year of marriage, we went to my mother-in-law's for Christmas. Their house is in another state, and the kitchen and living room are separate. My husband and his sister sneaked into the kitchen to eat some roasted turkey. His sister was so petty, worried that I would eat, so she secretly brought my husband to eat it. My husband, being clueless, didn't realize that no one has to hide to eat roasted turkey nowadays. Besides, I didn't even like it, and when I noticed they hadn't come out for a long time and was about to check, my mother-in-law suddenly called out. It was clearly a signal. By the time I got to the kitchen, they were hastily cleaning up, with sauce all over their faces. I'm very patient, so I didn't get angry, even though I was upset. Then I got pregnant, and things seemed calm for a while. But on the day I gave birth, my in-laws came to the hospital to accompany me. The day after, they went out to eat and said they'd bring me something. You won't believe what my mother-in-law brought for a new mother. Hamburgers. Who gives a postpartum woman hamburgers? It should have been a sandwich or soup. She actually had the nerve to say, I thought the hamburger would fill you up. It made my mom go home and cook for me. I was already in bad shape physically and emotionally after giving birth, and I didn't want to see my mother-in-law. Since I had trouble moving, I asked my husband to help me with things like wiping my body and massaging me. My mother-in-law, sitting nearby, said, "I raised you for 20 years and never got a massage from you. You should give me a massage later." I wanted to pour massage oil on her head, but I held back because I was worried my stitches might tear. That night, she brought her own massage oil and sat by my bed, asking my husband to massage her. My father-in-law said she wasn't in her right mind and went for a walk. That I watched my husband silently massaging his mother and my heart just sank. After I was discharged, I originally my mom to help with my recovery, but since she wasn't in good health, my mother-in-law stepped in. And guess what? The maid at massage became her new favorite hobby. She made my husband take care of her every day and kept giving me looks, and subtly implying that her son would always listen to her. I was so angry that I didn't want to sleep in the same room with her. When I wanted to go to my husband's room, but she wouldn't let me. She said I snored and it would disturb her son's sleep. So, I ended up sleeping on the couch for the entire postpartum recovery period. It's almost a joke, a new mom recovering on the couch. During this time, it seemed like I was living for my mother-in-law. She looked so pleased, and anyone didn't know would think that the child was hers. I was always on the heavier side, and after having the baby, I just looked more robust. Bringing my father-in-law was great. He bring me food that I liked. But my mother-in-law always brought what her son liked, and she'd say, "Hinavita, you should eat less. You're getting so fat, don't fight with my son for food." Though she said it jokingly, and it was clearly something she meant. When the baby turned 1 month old, we had a family dinner. When my sister-in-law walked in, the babe in Mirabel, she said, "The baby looks just like me, so pretty." I couldn't help but snap back. "It's fine if the baby looks like you, but I hope the personality doesn't." My mother-in-law immediately defended her, saying, "My daughter has such a great personality, and she never gets taken advantage of." Out to myself, why didn't you say that when your daughter's husband beat her black and blue? The guddle, she's just a bully at home. What bothered me most was how everyone kept saying the baby looked like this person or that person, but never like me, as if the baby wasn't mine. When gifts were handed out, in-law to my sister-in-law waved her gift in front of the baby but gave it to my husband instead, and my mother-in-law followed suit and gave her gift to her son. I deliberately said to the baby, "Look, your gift was hidden by Dad. Holden, he's such a bad guy." The room went completely silent. I thought, "You're counting pennies over this. He would have watched me put you in your place." After having the baby, I suddenly found the courage to stop just letting things slide. I'm really disappointed with this family and my husband. The only reason I'm still in this marriage is for the sake of the baby. Apart from being a mama's boy, my husband doesn't have any bad habits and gives me his paycheck. Without my mother-in-law, our life should be good. I believe that with a little effort, I can educate my husband, but right now my focus is all on the baby, and I just can't be bothered to deal with them.